They saw her on the streets and whispered, "Spoilt girl." They saw her makeup, her tight jeans, her bold walk, and they judged. But what they didn't see was the blood on the Bible that broke her. What they didn't see was the scream she swallowed at 13. And what they would never know was that before she sold her body, someone sold her soul in the name of God. This is not just a story, this is a confession. Her name is Joyce, and this is how the church turned her into something she never prayed to become. My name is Joyce. I used to kneel down for prayers. Now I kneel down for cash. But don't judge me, not until you've heard what they did to me. Not until you've heard how pastors ruined me. People look at me on the street and call me names. Some say I'm a disgrace. Others say I'm possessed. But none of them know that the first man who touched me wrongly was wearing a white collar and holding a Bible. I was just 13, a church girl, daddy's angel. My parents raised me in a Christian home. Morning prayers, Sunday school, memory verses. I believed in heaven, in purity, in miracles. Until that one night, when a guest pastor came for midweek prayers, he prayed in tongues. He laid hands on my parents. He shouted fire. They believed he was anointed. But when they went into the kitchen, he said he wanted to bless me privately. I followed, still smiling, still innocent. He placed his hand on my head, then on my chest, then lower. I froze. My voice disappeared. He said, "Don't cry, God is here." But I knew that wasn't God's hand. It was evil, dressed in cassock and holy oil. That night, I bled inside, not physically, but spiritually. Something inside me broke, and it never healed. And guess what? That was just the beginning. They say school is where you grow, but for me, it became the place where I died silently. After the assault in my home at 13, I changed. I became quieter, more serious with church things. I thought that if I became more spiritual, maybe the pain would disappear. Maybe God would heal me. So, when I entered secondary school, I joined the chapel team. I sang in the choir. I led morning devotions. Everyone called me Small Mommy Gio, but inside, I was still a scared little girl, carrying a secret. Then I met the school chaplain. He was young, vibrant, and always full of scriptures. He told everyone to respect me. He made me feel noticed, special. I thought maybe this was what healing looked like. Maybe I could trust again. But I was wrong. One day after evening service, he called me. He said I was growing fast and that I was beautiful like Queen Esther. He smiled gently and asked me to help him arrange books in the chapel office. I followed. Why wouldn't I? He was a chaplain, a man of God, a leader. As soon as I entered, he locked the door behind me. I laughed nervously and said, "Sir, is something wrong?" He looked at me for a long time. Then he said, "You have a special gift. Let me teach you how to use it. He came close, too close. My body froze. My hands shook. I begged him. I told him I was tired. He didn't listen. He touched me, forced himself on me, and told me to pray about it. He said, "You are still pure in God's eyes." When it was over, he told me never to tell anyone. He said if I spoke up, no one would believe me. And I believed him. I walked out of that chapel with heavy legs and a heart full of shame. I went back to my hostel. I cried into my pillow. No one noticed. No one asked questions. I began to lose faith completely. I stopped going to church in school. I stopped reading my Bible. I stopped singing. They all thought I was backsliding, but the truth was, I was already broken beyond repair. The worst part, I still had to greet him every morning, still had to sit through devotions and pretend everything was fine. That place didn't just break me, it buried the little light I had left. I was finally free from home, but I didn't know that freedom could lead me into another prison. He wore a collar, he preached purity, but behind closed doors, he was a beast in holy clothes. I was 18 when I got into the university, far away from home, far from school chapel that had become my nightmare. I told myself, new place, new life, I will forget, I will heal. I was drunk again. First semester was smooth. I kept my head down. No boys, no parties, no drama, just books and God. Yes, I tried to go back to him. I started attending Catholic Mass on campus. The Reverend Father, who led the chaplain, was so gentle and respected. He gave sermons about forgiveness and hope. He talked like someone who truly understood pain. I listened. I smiled again. I even started volunteering in church programs. He noticed me. He said I reminded him of Mary Magdalene, a woman with a strong spirit. He offered to be my spiritual mentor. I accepted. Why wouldn't I? He was a priest, a reverend father, God's holy man. One afternoon, he invited me to his office for counseling. He said he wanted to help me grow spiritually. He asked questions about my past, deep questions. I broke down and cried. I told him about the school chaplain. I told him about the pastor in my family house. He listened. Then he stood up, walked over and hugged me. It felt warm at first, but then his hands moved. Too low, too firm, too wrong. I pushed him, but he said softly, "Don't fight Illy, my child." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Before I could escape, he locked the door. That office, with Bible verses on the wall and a crucifix hanging above, became another crime scene. He didn't just take my body, he took the last part of me that still believed in anything holy. When it was over, he adjusted his white collar and told me to pray about it. He said, "We are both women. Don't let the devil deceive you." The devil? No, it wasn't the devil. It was him, another man of God. Another lie, another wound. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at my hostel ceiling, whispering one question over and over again. God, are you real? Or are you just a story they used to control girls like me? I didn't wake up one day and say, I wanted to be a prostitute. No, I just kept falling because no one ever caught me. After the Reverend Father, I changed again. But this time, it wasn't like before. I didn't just stop going to church. I stopped believing in anything. I stopped praying. I stopped hoping. I started drinking. At first, it was just one bottle, then two, then four. I wanted to forget, not just the assault, but the lies, the silence, the shame. I started skipping classes. I started dressing differently, more makeup, less clothing. If they were going to look at me, let them see what they want. Men noticed, and for the first time in my life, I noticed something too. The same society that shamed me for being abused was now praising me for being sexy. One man sent me 10,000 naira just because I replied his DM. Another sent 50,000 to spoil me small. All for nothing but sweet words and smiles. And I thought to myself, why suffer for free when men are willing to pay for your pain? I didn't plan to start sleeping with them, but one night I was broke, hungry, and I was angry. And I needed to pay rent. He was older, rich, married. He asked me to come over. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I just went. After it was over, I lay there staring at the ceiling, same way I did when I was 13, when I was 15, and when I was 18. Only this time, I wasn't crying. I was numb, tired, and empty. He gave me 100,000 naira and a ride home. That night, I whispered to myself, so this is who I am now. But no voice answered me. God was silent. The heavens were closed, and I was too far gone. That was the beginning. More men came. More night built into each other. Some called it runs, some called it survival, but I know what it really was. Pain, wearing red lipstick. I became the girl that church mothers gossiped about, the girl lecturers stared at too long, the girl who smiled in public but cried while removing her makeup at night. I wasn't a prostitute. I was a broken child, dressed like a woman, searching for something she never got. Love, safety, peace. They saw the nails, the hair, the skin, but they never saw the bleeding heart underneath. People saw me on Instagram and called me hot. They said I was glowing. They said I looked expensive. I laughed in the comments, but deep down, I was dying. Every picture I posted was a distraction. Every smile was a lie. Every new outfit was just a costume to cover up the scars no one could see. I became the baddie on campus. Boys wanted me. Girls envied me. Even the same church brothers who used to call me Sister Joyce started messaging me at midnight. I started using a fake name online, not because I wanted privacy, but because I couldn't face who I had become. I was two people, the confident girl on Snapchat and the crying girl in the shower after each hookup. One night, I was at a party. Everyone was dancing, drinking, shouting. I was standing by the wall, holding a red cup, but feeling like a ghost. Someone shouted, "Joyce, why so dull?" I smiled and shouted back, "I'm just tired." But the truth was, I was tired of pretending, tired of carrying secrets, tired of being strong for a world that only wanted to enjoy my body, not heal my soul. I tried to open up to someone once, a girl I thought was a friend. I told her I was abused 3 times by men of God. She looked at me and said, "Are you sure you didn't enjoy it?" That was the day I stopped talking. People didn't want the truth. They wanted gossip. They wanted labels. They wanted to say, "She's a prostitute now. She likes it." No one asked me how it started. No one cared about the pastor, the chaplain, the priest. Only me. Only the girl who bled in silence while the men wore white robes and preached forgiveness. So I wore my masks. I laughed louder. I dressed bolder. I acted like nothing ever touched me. But every night, when the lights went out, I whispered to the darkness, "God, if you're still real, please come get me." Before I forget who I used to be, I didn't speak because I wanted sympathy. I spoke because silence almost killed me. It started with a post. I opened my Instagram page one night, the same page where I once posted selfie in tight dresses and luxury hotel rooms. But this time, I posted something different. A black background, no filter, just these words. I was 13, the first time a man of God touched me. I was 15, the second time. I was 18, the third. I'm not a prostitute. I'm a broken girl who was failed by the very people who were supposed to protect me. This is my story. Then I turned off my phone. I was scared, shaking, ready to delete it and hide again. But within minutes, my phone started buzzing. Messages, comments, shares. People I never expected messaged me. "Choice, I went through the same thing. Thank you for being brave. You just gave me the courage to speak." That night I cried, not because I was broken, but because for the first time in my life, I was not alone. The next day, I recorded a video. I didn't wear makeup. I didn't try to sound polished. I just stared into the camera and said, "My name is Joyce. I grew up in a Christian home. I was a church girl, but I was abused by 3 different religious leaders. I lost my way. I sold my body. But today, I'm finding my voice." I posted it. It went viral. Some people called me a liar. Some said I was just seeking attention. Some quoted Bible verses to shame me. But I didn't care anymore. Because for every insult, I got 10 women saying, "Me too." That was the day I stopped being a victim. That was the day I became a voice. I'm still healing. Some day, I still cry. Some nights, I still fight shame. But I'm no longer hiding. If you're reading this, if you're watching this, If you are listening to me right now, I want you to know you are not alone. Your story matters. Your voice can break the silence. This is my truth, and I'm no longer afraid to tell it. Lessons from the story. This story teaches us that pain doesn't always scream. Sometimes it sits quietly in the eyes of people we passed every day, masked by strength, buried in silence. It teaches us that not every wound bleeds on the outside, and not every person carrying shame chose that path. Sometimes the ones meant to protect, guide, and bless are the very ones who betray the deepest. It shows us how easy it is to judge what someone had become without even asking what broke them. It reminds us that behind every so-called bad decision, there might be a story of deep betrayal, abuse, or abandonment. It reveals the cruelty of a world that praises predators in public and shames victims in silence. But it also reminds us that truth is a kind of freedom, and that healing begins the moment silence is broken. No one is ever beyond saving, and no soul should be defined by what was done to them. Everyone deserves to be heard, to be believed, and to be healed, because every voice that rises from pain carries the powers to wake the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying this story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also click the notification bell so you never miss any of our upcoming stories. Feel free to leave a comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Your support means everything to me. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and keep enjoying great stories from me to you. I love you all. God bless you.